Hey survivors and thrivers, this is Ophelia Woodbury at thehappymedium.com. So there are many of you out there who have asked the question if complex PTSD is an actual disability. Well, by the end of this video, you'll know for sure and what you can do to reverse those effects. For the best trauma recovery tips, tools, and strategies, be sure to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you'll never miss a video when I upload new content every Wednesday. Welcome back, everyone. I'm so glad you're able to join me today. And if this is your first time here, I am also a survivor of complex trauma. I'm a licensed professional counselor, a trauma recovery coach, as well as a certified clinical trauma specialist, helping people and organizations resolve the effects of trauma and build resilience. So is complex PTSD a disability? Well, technically, no. But research does show that it is linked to disability, which is defined by a person's inability to work or to carry out normal daily functioning and activities due to physical and mental health problems. So I kind of liken it to an indoctrination, sort of this highly brainwashed process where a person knows that something's wrong or something's not quite right, but they're so deep in it and they have on so many blinders that they're not really able to distinguish between what's truly healthy and what's dysfunctional. You know, back before in the 1950s and really before the 1960s, kids had no rights. It's like all of these families, not all of these families, but a lot of families were raping and molesting their kids. Kids were being molested by their fathers and brothers and uncles and cousins, and nobody said anything about it. And it was almost like everybody did. The whole neighborhood was doing it. And so it made people question their sanity. Like, it feels like something's not right about this, but everybody's doing it. And that's kind of what I mean. I mean, the more blatant stuff like being physically abused or somebody's being killed, or, you know that's wrong. Anybody, even if you're abused, you come from a background with complex trauma, those things are much more clear. But the things where kind of everybody's doing it and you have this sense like, something's not right about this. But then it's like you're trapped in it, and so you just sort of forced to adapt. That's what I mean by it being an indoctrination process. So the good news is that complex PTSD is a learned stress disorder, so which means that it can be unlearned. And so how do we reverse then the debilitating effects of complex PTSD and move forward with our lives and avoid becoming disabled by those effects? The first thing, I recommend two big things. And I always, people ask me, so how do I start healing myself? And I always say, two big things. The first one is to know thyself. Getting an understanding of how complex trauma and complex PTSD has impacted your health, your self-esteem, the way that you view life and relationships and other people, the way that you view the world, is critical for understanding the things that you will need to start doing differently to live a different life, a different and more fulfilled life, so that you won't become disabled. Now, you can start doing this by keeping a journal, a record of your early life events that scared you, that hurt you, that put you in harm's way, that made you feel like you had to brace for a threat every time you turned around. Start writing about those things. When you're doing that, just be aware that you might become overwhelmed. You might start remembering places and names and things that you had repressed. And you might say, oh, I remember that person. Oh my God. Ugh, I feel yucky. Or you might feel like you want to go into rage. Whatever that feeling is, and you might become overwhelmed by, you want to pair this writing activity with containment, safe place, or grounding exercises to help you relax your body, to get back into a calm place where you can continue to move forward with healing. And I made a video on body awareness activities to help you do that. So if you need some help with understanding grounding and containment and safe place, be sure to watch that video. I'll link it here in the cards and also in the description below. The second thing is to do the work. Now, once you've opened the door to facing your trauma, you want to dive in. You want to get started. But I don't mean in this sort of quick, fast, hurry kind of way. Let's hurry up and find a therapist so I can spill my guts. That's going to take time. What I mean, doing the work means to dare to commit. That you are going to be the person who breaks the cycle, no matter how long it takes and no matter how hard the work is. That typically requires you really taking your time to understand, okay, what therapist do I need to work with? So it means visiting those therapist directories. I did a video also on that. I will link that video to the description so you can kind of know, like, how do I start the process of looking for the right therapist? Once you start doing that, then you call the therapist, you ask the therapist, have you worked with somebody with my particular struggle? And if they say yes, you say, well, how do you do that? Tell me about your process. And you start to get a sense and a feel for this person to determine if they're the right fit. And then you start doing the work. You're going to be dismantling old defenses and old habits and old protections, things that helped you when you were going through the trauma, but they no longer serve you in this current situation. You want to make sure you have the right person to help guide you along with that. But doing the work means to be fully committed to the healing process. You do the work, you make sure you have the right person, and then you do the work to get your healing and recovery. So now you know that complex PTSD is actually a learned stress disorder that can lead to disability due to long-term exposure to complex trauma. Now, if you're learning or looking to go deeper with building a recovery infrastructure, be sure to grab my free Complex PTSD Trauma Recovery mini course that you can access by clicking the link below in the description. If you're looking for an uplifting community where you can gain access to spiritual approaches to healing complex PTSD, be sure to join me on Instagram, where I share inspirational content that speaks to the spiritual aspects of healing. Okay, well, that is all for today. If you liked this video, be sure to show some love by giving it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and drop a comment below to let me know what your biggest takeaway was. I always love your feedback, guys, and it really helps me to understand what I need to do to continue to make these videos that are helpful for you. So give me that feedback. And last but not least, be sure to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you'll always be in the know when I upload new videos every single Wednesday. I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.